Hey everybody, Josh Peck here. Hope you're doing well. So we have some beast system, beast technology um, type of stuff to talk about, but um, just for some background, so you know where we're coming from with this. Revelation 13, starting in verse 11, it talks about the beast of the earth and this mark of the beast system that's going to be implemented in the tribulation. A common theme with a lot of these videos that I've been doing lately is talking about birth pangs, where we see a type of shadow fulfillment in our day, because I do believe we're living in the last days, but we're not at the tribulation yet. That'll come sometime after the rapture, and at least in my opinion. Um, So, for some context, this is what will happen during the tribulation, and then we're going to look at a story to see how some of these birth pangs are happening now. So, again, we're in Revelation 13, starting in verse 11. It says, "Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. And he exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence, and caused the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. He performs great signs, so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast." And by the way, it's widely regarded that this first beast here is the Antichrist, and it's talking about the false prophet right now. So there's these two end time figures, the Antichrist, and then basically his right hand man, which is the false prophet. That's who this is referring to. And of course, like everything, there's some debate on that, but that's generally recognized as that the Antichrist, false prophet. Um, uh, Telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image of the beast, who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast. By the way, when you look in the original language, that word breath, that word for it's for life. It's the same word that's used whenever it's talking about breath of life, like it's actual life somehow. So it seems that there's some spirit that indwells this thing. Maybe it's Apollyon, maybe it's something else. There's some debate on that too. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. He causes all, here's the key verse in verse 16, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. Okay, 666. But, okay, so, this was written roughly 2,000 years ago during a time where it would seem like this kind of thing would be impossible. Like, how could you get the whole world to go along with some sort of mark, and then they can't participate in the economy without that mark, whatever that is? Well, now, with the technology that we have not had for that long, when you think about the whole span of 2,000 years since this has been written, we do have the technology for this kind of thing, and we're consistently seeing light versions of this get rolled out, and we could definitely see how something like this could be made worldwide pretty easily. So anytime that there's some new development or new step towards that kind of thing, everybody having some kind of mark, whether it's a tattoo or an RFID chip, or whether it's even some sort of Nephilim genetic, Antichrist genetic kind of things, there's all sorts of theories about what it could be. But whatever it is, in order to receive it, you have to worship the beast or the image of the beast to get it. So nobody can be tricked into it. Nobody can be forced into it. You have to willingly deny Jesus by pledging your allegiance to the Antichrist. And that's why once that mark is implemented, it says later that you have forfeited salvation. If you get the mark of the beast, you cannot be saved anymore. And that's what a lot of people think, that maybe the mark does something to your genetics. It does something to make you not human anymore, thus not eligible for salvation, just like the angels are not eligible for salvation. The offspring of the angels and humans from Genesis 6, called the Nephilim, the giants, they're not eligible for salvation. So that's the idea. So anyway, so that's why we want to pay close attention to anything that gets rolled out in our day that looks like it might be an echo of that, or some type of shadow fulfillment. And again, it doesn't mean that things that are available today are the mark of the beast. Some people go that far and they say that they're completely wrong. None of this is. You're not going to forfeit your salvation for this kind of stuff because, again, it doesn't meet these requirements. Anybody can have this technology, and they don't have to deny Jesus and worship the beast in order to get it. You can just have it. That doesn't mean it's good. It doesn't even mean that that everything's not sinful. You know, I don't know. You got to take case by case basis. But there's a recent story now, because again, think what else you could do with a mark like this. If you can't buy or sell without the mark, that means that this mark has the capability. They can track you through that mark. They can track you. They can see where you're going. Because they have to be able to monitor you to you know, in some capacity to keep you from buying or selling, participating in the economy. Well, from The Verge, we find out that Apple has launched a digital ID, and it'll be accepted by the TSA. So you can present your digital ID at TSA checkpoints in more than 250 airports across the U.S. So, you know, we want to pay close attention to this digital ID stuff because it's not the mark of the beast, but it's close. It's similar in a way. It does similar types of things. And that's why we want to pay attention to it, because it's like this could be one step closer to mark of the beast technology. So Apple is launching digital IDs, a feature that allows you to create and store an ID in Apple Wallet using your U.S. passport. In the announcement, Apple says digital ID acceptance will begin to roll out first as TSA checkpoints for domestic travels in over 250 airports across the U.S. You can present your digital ID in a place of a real ID at TSA checkpoints using your iPhone or Apple Watch. But Apple notes that it isn't a replacement for your physical passport and that you can't use it for international travel or border crossings. That's where it is now, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay there forever. I'm sure eventually you'll be able to use it for that too. Apple already allows you to store your driver's license in Apple Wallet in 12 states and Puerto Rico, but the new digital ID option offers an alternative for people whose home state doesn't support digital driver's licenses or don't already have a real ID or state ID. Apple first announced digital IDs during its Worldwide Developers Conference in June, and the feature was supposed to arrive with iOS 26 before Apple quietly delayed it. So there's Apple says your digital ID is encrypted. That's another thing too. You know, how safe is this stuff? Seems like we're always hearing about data breaches and stuff like that. So who knows how safe this is? But again, that's just a part of our world now. I mean, that's everything. That's email, your bank accounts, it's everything. And especially once quantum computing really starts rolling out. I've talked about this before. The dreaded Q day, the day where quantum computing surpasses the encryption systems that are in place now, and they can't make new systems faster than the quantum computing is progressing. So it's definitely a strange time to be alive. But anyway, it says to create a digital ID, tap the plus button on the top right corner. It tells you how to do it. It says Apple says the feature is encrypted, meaning Apple can't see when you display your ID or the data you presented. You also won't need to unlock, show, or hand over your device to present your ID, something you shouldn't do with digital driver's license either. It says it's still not clear which airports will accept digital IDs. Apple also notes that users will soon be able to present their digital ID at additional select businesses and organizations in the future. So it's interesting. You know, you have your phone. You'll be able to keep it in your hand, and usually people hold their phones in the right hand, and you'll be able to just show your ID to travel. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is a direct fulfillment of Revelation 13. It's not, but I think it's a like a shadow fulfillment. It's a birth pang. It's a a type of shadow of a future thing, and I think it's a birth pang. And that again, that's been a common theme on these daily videos that I've been doing. So as always, I'm curious to know what you think. Have you seen things like this? Can you think of any other examples that are like starting to delve into Mark of the Beast territories? Leave me a comment in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe, click the bell to turn on all notifications. And until next time, take care and God bless.